Hi folks, happy Friday. I'm here with my mensch on the bench. Although he's a Hanukkah guy, and we actually just passed Easter and Passover, so I'll leave him over there on his bench. But I did want to talk about privacy and the Bible, given that we just went through this holy period of holidays. So privacy, we all know as a new issue in the world of technology because of the concerns we have about large databases and profiling. But privacy goes back to the ancient of times. Professor Alan Weston of Columbia, many of you know, the author of one of the great privacy books and one of the early privacy scholars who did some of the most interesting early work in this area, actually did a giant draft. It hasn't yet been published. Hopefully it will come out one day, where he traces privacy from biblical times to Roman times to Greek times, and he looks at cultures and traditions around the world, and it's phenomenal. I hope it sees the light of day. But since you don't want to wait, I want to share with you the biblical roots of privacy in the Bible. Now, some of you may have read Jeff Rosen's great book, The Unwanted Gaze, and Jeff in that talks about some of the Talmudic history behind privacy law, going back to Bible times. But I want to ask you all here today whether you know the perhaps oldest source, I assume the Bible, maybe there are older sources, but the oldest source I'm aware of for privacy law, something that I spend a lot of time on, and many of you friends and watchers and followers here spend your time on. Do you know what it is? Melanie, I've got some of the team here watching me. Lauren, Melanie, you know what they're going to say? They're going to say Adam and Eve, right? Because everyone knows they were naked all of a sudden. But that's not really privacy, right? Modesty. Here it is. And the reason I talk about this after Passover is, as you know, the Passover story deals with the Jews going out of slavery in Egypt and traveling through the desert, and all these great miracles happening, the splitting of the Reed Sea and the like, and various battles until they got to the Holy Land. Well, on the way, one of the kings who saw the Israelites coming, hearing of all these miracles, realized he needed a little extra help if he was going to defeat them in battle. And so this king, Balak, called for a prophet, Bilam. Bilam was known to be a guy who, when he cursed you, you were cursed. So a good guy to have on your side. So he recruited Bilam to come and curse the Israelites so that he could be victorious over them. There's some drama about whether Bilam wanted to go. Did God want him to go? His donkey taking him on the way saw an angel that Bilam didn't see and wanted to get off the path, and Bilam hit him, and the donkey spoke and said, you know, you dope, there's an angel there ready to kill us. Anyway, a lot of drama. For those of you who are looking for some good weekend reading, the Bible's got some interesting stuff in it, occasionally relevant to some of our cutting-edge technology days. But anyway, Bilam gets there, and they go up on a mountain, and with the king says, there, those people, that's who I need you to curse. And Bilam gets ready to whip out his ugliest invective, but what comes out instead of a curse? A beautiful blessing, right? Divine intervention here. And the blessing was, I'll say it in Hebrew for those of you who got the tongue down, Ma tovu alecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael. This phrase is part of the morning prayer service for many. And it says, Ma tovu, what is so beautiful? Ohalecha Yaakov, what is so beautiful of the tents of Jacob, the children of Israel. So you can imagine the commentators said, what was so beautiful about the tents? I mean, the tents are beautiful. And the commentators say the tents were set up so that the entrance of one didn't face the entrance of the other. So that when you're coming out of your tent in the morning, you didn't see into your neighbor's home, see them naked, see them doing their own business. This notion of modesty. And that is the basis later on for various Talmudic debates around whether or not somebody who opens up a window that faces into a courtyard can make his neighbor close up a window, and a whole history of what became privacy law was built on that story. So interesting thing to talk about perhaps after Passover, nothing to do with that mention on the bench, he's Hanukkah, but hopefully a little bit of color for those who are interested in some of the history of privacy. I was reminded of this story when chatting with a friend of ours, Ann Toth, and as many of you remember, was the privacy lead at Yahoo and at Google Plus and at Slack, and now does some consulting. And she reminded me that I've told this story and wanted to refresh on where it was from. The first time I told it in the privacy world was at the annual meeting of data commissioners when they were meeting in Israel. The OECD had a privacy meeting the day before, and nobody was talking about Israel and privacy. And so I figured I would share this background since we were actually in Israel. I somehow decided it would also be appropriate to sing the Ma Tovu at the time. My staff is looking, he's not going to sing. I'm not going to sing. My daughter at the time was much younger, and she was learning the prayer service, and so I had been hearing sort of in the house her beautiful voice singing this Ma Tovu. I'm not going to sing. Anyway, thanks for joining us today, and have a happy Friday.